Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I am Surbi Goel, a legal intern at LexLink. So today we are going to discuss the case of Meghna Gandhi versus Union of India. So let's get started. So the landmark ruling in Menka Gandhi versus Union of India, which stand as a bulwark of the right of personal liberty granted by Article 21 of the Indian Constitution, started when the passport of the petitioner in this case was impounded by the authorities under the provisions of the Passport Act. This arbitrary act of impounding the passport eventually led to the pronouncement of a unanimous decision by a seven-judge bench of the apex court, compromising M.H. Beck, CJI, Y.V. Chandrachud, V.R. Krishna Iyer, P.N. Bhagwati, N.L. Untawalia, S. Murtaza Fazal Ali, and P.S. Kali Samam. So let's talk about the facts of the case. The petitioner Menka Gandhi's passport was issued on 1st June 1976 as per the Passport Act 1967. On 2nd July 1977, the Regional Passport Office, New Delhi, ordered her to surrender her passport. The petitioner was also not given by the reason for this arbitrary and unilateral decision for the External Affairs Ministry, citing public interest. The petitioner approached the Supreme Court by invoking its writ jurisdiction and contending that the state's act of impounding a passport is a direct assault on a right of personal liberty as guaranteed by Article 21. It is pertinent to mention that Supreme Court in Swatwan Singh Soni versus Ramathanam held that right to travel abroad is well within the ambit of Article 21, although the extent to which the Passport Act diluted this particular right was unclear. So there was four issues before the court in this case. First, are the provision under Article 21, 14 and 19 connected with each other, or are they mutually exclusive? Second was, should the procedure established by law be tested for reasonability, which in the case was the procedure laid down by the Passport Act of 1967. Third was, if the right to travel outside the country is a part of Article 21 or not. And fourth was, is the legislative law that snatches away the right life reasonable. So the argument from the petitioner was, through the administrative order that seized the passport on 4 July 1977, the state has infringed upon the petitioner fundamental right of freedom and speech and expression, right to life and personal liberty, right to travel abroad, and the right to freedom of movement. The provisions given in Article 14, 19, and 21 should be read together and aren't mutually exclusive. Only a cumulative reading and subsequent interpretation will lead to observance of principles of natural justice and the true spirit of constitutionalism. India might not have adopted the American concept of due process of law. Nevertheless, the procedure established by law should be fair and just, reasonable, and not arbitrary. Section 10, Clause 3, Subclause C of the Passport Act violates Article 21 insofar as it violates the right to life and personal liberty guaranteed by this article. Audi alterum partem, that is, the opportunity of being heard, is invariably acknowledged as a vital component of the principle of natural justice. Even if these principles of natural justice are not expressly mentioned in any of the provision of the Constitution, the idea behind the spirit of fundamental rights embodies the very core crux of these principles. So the contention of the respondent were, the respondent stated before the court that the passport was confiscated since the petitioner had to appear before a government committee for a hearing. The respondent asserted that the word law under Article 21 can be understood as reflected in the fundamental rule of natural justice, emphasizing the principle laid down in the A.K. Gopalan case. Article 21 contains the phrase procedure established by law, and such procedure does not have to pass the test of reasonability and need not necessarily be in consonance with the Article 14 and 19. The farmers of our constitution had long debates on the American due process of law versus the British procedure established by law. The marked absence of the due process of law from the provisions of the Indian Constitution clearly indicate the process constitution makers' inventions. So the judgment in Menka Gandhi case was, the immensely important judgment was delivered on 25th January 1978, and it altered the landscape of the Indian Constitution. This judgment widened Article 21 scope immensely, and it realized that the goal of making India a welfare state, as assured in the preamble, the unanimous judgment was given by a seven-judge bench. So let's come to the conclusion. The judgment's most important feature was the interlinking it laid down between the provision of Article 19, 14 and 21. Through this link, Supreme Court made the provisions inseparable and into a single entity. Now, any procedure has to meet all the requirements mentioned under these three articles to be held valid. As a result, this judgment enlarged the scope of personal liberty significantly and preserved the fundamental and constitutional right to life. The judgment, apart from protecting citizens from the unchallenged action of executive, also preserved the sanctity of parliament law when it refused to strike down the 97th Act, Section 10, Clause 3, Subclause C, and 10, Subclause 5. The judgment paved the way for the apex court to bring the ambit of Article 21 other important links to right to clean water, right to clean air, right to freedom from noise pollution, child education, speedy trial, fair trial, right to livelihood, legal aid, right to food, right to clean environment, right to medical care, etc. So that's all for today. I hope you understood the case. It was one of the very important case. And Milk Gandhi versus Union of India is a landmark judgment, one of the landmark judgment. So I hope you like the video. Do subscribe to the channel and click the like button. Thank you so much. We'll meet tomorrow.